All right, so let's take a look at some examples of what I'm talking about, because easier said than done, Cobbs, right? The first one when you think of collaboration, is probably peer-to-peer. So students working together. Let's talk about some examples. First, it could be student to student, groups of students working with other groups of students, or a group of students looking at one particular student's work. And some examples of this in remote learning would be, like a comment on a document. So the kids are working on a particular document and they're, editing it with each other, or they're giving each other feedback, or they're highlighting things, stuff like that. Another one is you have a project and you have them working on it together. So there's multiple editing access between these students, and so they're working back and forth with each other, giving each other comments, re-editing things together. Or it could be on a different platform where they're just building together. So that's also something they can do to be collaborating. You can have little push-out groups where they're meeting, virtually. Kids need to be able to talk to each other, communicate with each other. So having these little virtual chat rooms for them to work on projects together is going to be key. Grading and correcting. For grading, students can grade each other's work. And what it does two things. One, it allows for you to not have to spend all this time grading and grading and grading, so it saves you some time. But B, it lets the kids see other people's work, and it gives them a chance to kind of internalize these problems or these rubrics or what have you. As they're doing that, they're then reflecting on their own work, and they're seeing, there's that third person perspective. I thought this, they did this. I can see how they, builds connections. And this might be another one. You may want to set up virtual play for them, whether that's a virtual playground or, again, some sort of social meeting space where the kids can just go in there and just talk or draw. There's virtual drawing tools, stuff like that. There just has to be a time for them to connect, because that's like the most important thing when you're a kid is who are your friends, working with talking with your friends, working with your friends. Trials and tribulations. I mean, we do it now even as teachers. We have our teacher friends. We talk. We collaborate. It's so important. So creating that virtual play for them is going to be key. When we're talking about collaboration feedback for teachers and students, again, the feedback cannot stop. You have to keep giving it to them during remote learning. It's going to be tough. It's going to be harder for you. It's not going to just be right in front of your face. You're going to have to actually go into different softwares. You're going to have to actually make an effort and really be mindful and be conscientious and disciplined. Really, it's going to take discipline to give the feedback the kids are going to need. But remote learning that's going to be a challenge, but that's something you need to focus on. Again, the feedback is going to encourage them. It's going to help guide their understanding. It's going to give you a sense of where the class is at, which helps drive your instruction. And some examples of this in remote learning would be comments on tasks, email communication, like to a student. It could be a voice thread, which is probably easier. Also, grading. That's going to be essential, whether it's in brick and mortar classrooms or it's in virtual classrooms. All right, collaboration and feedback. This is for parents. So this is going to be something you're really going to have to understand. With remote learning, you're going to expect more feedback from the parents because they're now having a different role. The roles have shifted, and they're going to have a much more important play in the child's education. Because really, if the parents aren't trying, and you aren't being proactive, and you're not reaching out to them and checking in on what's going on, it's going to be easy for the parent to be like, you know what, just turn on the TV or the iPad and just play your game. I don't want to deal with this right now. And that's fine to an extent, but you need to be persistent. And I'm going to give you an example. My sister's here in San Diego, she started the remote learning process as well as all the public schools in San Diego have shut down. And she has phone calls from teachers every single day, the great teachers, and they're just calling and they're saying, hey, how's it going? How'd it go today? Just a little quick call. Again, it's gonna be tougher for you, but again, you're not there to work with the kids one-on-one like you do in the classroom. So you got to be a bit proactive. I'm not saying bug parents, but having something like that has been a positive thing. And I've just seen it just now since I've been back. So it's been really cool. So I would recommend having regularly scheduled sessions with parents, even if it's just a 5-minute check-in. So you can have maybe 5 times a week, or once a week with the parents, or once a day, or something like that. I mean, maybe with the older kids a bit, maybe once every other week, or I still think once a week is about good. We're in San Diego right now. So like I was saying, I would recommend having regularly scheduled sessions with parents. If it's every other day, every day, once a week, something, you got to check in on them, show them that you care, and they'll give you feedback on what's going on with the learning. And I think they'll even appreciate what you do more on a day-to-day basis, because they're actually being the ones who are now a bit in your role. Here's a little tip for you. The tip is you could possibly do little virtual calls with a specialist and a homeroom teacher. So that'd be kind of cool if you had the PE teacher with the homeroom teacher, or maybe like the grade 6 team. You guys all meet at the same time to call parents, kind of go through a list, knock off a couple a day, meet each day, something like that. I think that would be great, because then the parents are getting all the teachers at once. It shows that we're unified. And you'll get some good feedback and stuff like that. I don't know, just an idea.